Welcome back, everybody, to day 16 of learning SQL. You thought I was going to miss this one. Nope, we are back on the grind. It's late. It's like 1 something in the morning, but we have to continue to learn SQL every single day. So let's get straight into it. Today, we're going to be given the task to take 2 columns from one table and move them over to another table and essentially join the 2 tables together so they match up on a particular ID. And we're going to take the columns from one table and move them over to another table. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything from my payments table. Go ahead and run this, and then I'm going to open another query here. We're going to select everything from the members table. And I'm going to go ahead and open this. So the task that we have been given is we have our payments table here, and we have the mem ID, the amount, and the date. And let's say for whatever reason, we want to not only have the mem ID of the person making the payment, but we want to have the first name and the last name in this table. Now, I know that doesn't really make a lot of sense in terms of the design of our database, but let's just assume that that was the task that was given to us for testing purposes. So what we need to do is we need to go over here to our members table. As you can see, we have the first name and the last name based off of the mem ID here, which is the primary key. So we want to take this first name and last name column and essentially alter this table and bring those columns over to this table matched up with the mem ID. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to keep both of these tables open for reference. And the first thing that we're going to do is we need to actually alter the table to add in new columns. So I'm going to say alter table. And the table name that we're going to be altering is going to be the payments table. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a column. And that column name is going to be first name. And then we need to go ahead and specify the data type. So we're going to say variable character 50. And then we'll go ahead and add the second column as well while we're here. So we're going to add column. That's going to be last name. And it's going to be the same thing, variable character 50. So we'll go ahead and run this. It looks like the alter table was successful. So let's go back to our payments table and rerun this query. And now you can see here that the first name and the last name, there's been 2 new columns added to this table. So that's good. We're already kind of halfway there. You can see that currently both of those columns just contain null because there's no values inserted in there. So instead of inserting the values manually, we're actually going to pull the 2 columns from our members table based off the member ID to put in the correct names for each one of these transactions. So let's go ahead here, scroll over, and let's go ahead and create that query. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to say update. We're going to say the table name, which is going to be our payments table. And when we make this query, we're kind of going to do a join essentially because we have to match up the tables based off of the mem ID, but it's not going to be, we're not going to actually use the join keyword. So let me show you. So we're going to update payments. We're going to say that we're going to go ahead and set the columns in the payment table. So let me go back and just take a look at what we have here. So this is our updated payments table. So we want to update the first name and the last name. So we're going to go ahead and say update the first name. Oops, update the first name. And we don't need to put a table name. Like we don't need to say payment dot first name because SQL knows that we're actually updating the payments table. When I originally tried this, when I was testing things out, I actually got an error message by using payments.firstname because I thought, oh, well, there's going to be no harm in specifying the table, but it actually didn't work. So you have to use just the first name column name when doing the set statement. So first name, and we're going to equal that to the column in the other table, which is going to be our members.first name, first underscore name. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and do the next one. We're going to specify the next column, which is going to be last name, and set that equal to members underscore last name. Oops, members dot last underscore name. And then from here, we have to specify where this is coming from. Where are we getting this members dot first name and members dot last name? Well, it's coming from our members table, right? So it knows we're updating the payments table, and then we're getting the information that we're updating from the members table. And then what we need to do is this is where this join essentially happens. It's not an actual join keyword, but we're going to say where the mem ID. So we're going to specify the actual mem ID. So we'll say the payments.mem ID is equal to the members.mem ID. Oops, mem ID. So let's just look at our query here. We're going to update the payments table. We're going to set the first name and the last name column of the payments table equal to the members.first name and last name column from our members table shown here. And then we're going to say where payments ID, payments.mem ID equals members.mem ID. So it's going to tell us how we're going to match up the two tables. So let's go ahead and run this. And it looks like the update was successful. So let's go back to our payments table and run this query again. And as you can see here, for the mem ID 1, we have Molly Edwards, and for mem ID 2, we have Jeff Smith. And so let's go ahead and just quickly look back at our members table. And you can see here that the mem ID 1 is indeed Molly Edwards, and mem ID 2 is Jeff Smith. So we were successful. Let me go back to here. So as you can see, we were successful in first adding the two columns to the new table, and then essentially migrating the data from one table to another. Now, I'm not saying this is the correct way to make this table, but you can see that the actual process of doing this for testing purposes was successful. So thank you guys for watching. Catch us back tomorrow for day 17 of learning SQL. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.